Hey, everybody, welcome back to Johnny's Prophetic Perspective. And we're so excited to have our close friends, kingdom comrades, Henry and Amanda Hastings, with us in our home studio. We're finally in our home studio. And we're excited they're our very first guests we've had on Johnny's Prophetic Perspective and in our new studio.
That's correct.
It is time. And we're so excited about what we're going to talk about today. The date for you is Monday, June 8th. We're filming this a couple of days in advance, and I'm letting you know that in case something crazy happens in the world and we don't address it, it's because we don't know it's happened. But one of the reasons why we brought Henry and Amanda with us today, you know, in the past episodes of Johnny's Prophetic Perspective, we have mentioned them and their ministry, Justice Reigns, several times, and you guys have responded with incredible generosity. You've come alongside of them, many of you, and become monthly partners with them. You've signed up for their emails. You've gotten involved in different ways. Maybe some of you guys have been a part of Shoot, Move, Communicate, SMC with Henry. And, you know, it's just an honor for Johnny and I. We were just talking about how we've known Amanda for over 20 years.
Yep.
And just an honor to be in ministry side by side and to run together in many ways, in addition to just being good friends and living in the same city and doing life together. But it's such an incredible time to be alive when you wake up to all that is being exposed. And of course, human trafficking and sex trafficking and satanic ritual abuse. Sorry, I had to fix that in my head. We're waking up to all these realities going on around us. There's a lot of anger, understandable, over the whole Epstein files situation and why isn't more seem to be happening related to that, and the anti-trafficking movement in general. And, you know, it has become a really important part of our focus because of our friendship with Henry and Amanda and how they have really been called by the Lord to be on the front lines in this space. And so, you know, we all get upset about this idea and we feel like what difference can we possibly make, especially when it doesn't seem that anything major has happened. We want to see arrests. We want to see people experience the justice that they deserve. And, you know, what we want to do today in having Henry and Amanda on as our guests, we want them to more further educate you guys related to the anti-trafficking movement, what is actually happening behind the scenes. Rather than focusing on what isn't happening, let's find out what actually is happening and how you can be a part of it. So I know, Johnny, you have some things you wanted to add to that before we let Henry and Amanda loose.
Yeah. So part of it is that, you know, as Elizabeth's saying, we want you to be aware of, we'll say, the prayer covering that's required for what they do. One of the things that's very apparent when you get involved in this aspect of recovery, that the spiritual warfare is intense. So I want you to be able to be aware of that. And we're also going to let you in on the ways you can contribute financially. Is actually our request that we have made to Henry and Amanda. You know, they were in where we previously were, the organization that had the platform we previously were. They were gracious in providing a lot of resources for human trafficking organizations that are fighting human trafficking. And so we want to honor their role and what they've done up to this point. And they did, you know, recently feel they want to go in another direction. And so what that has done is there are some organizations that we had promised, because I worked really close with Henry and Amanda in this, and there was a part where I will approve. They would tell me what they felt was important that they were connecting to, and I was the one that would give the final approval. So we committed towards things through the end of the year, and there's not the resources for them. So some of the organizations are very hurt from it. Some are medium hurt, and some not so much hurt, but they're hurt in some kind of way. So I wanted to get an opportunity for our audience. Our audience has been so generous with us. I said, let us give our audience, our Restore 7 audience, the ones that have been following, particularly me for many years, they have always been very generous. Let's tell them, I said, what is the amount that that really was expected to be poured out through the rest of the year? I think it's $784,000. And we have separated them to category 1, category 2, category 3. Category 1 would be those that it really is hurting, that they're not getting it. Category 2, it's hurting them.
Hurting meaning they plan their budget around these amounts, these organizations that are doing different things in the anti-trafficking space.
Signed leases and all that. And so we just want you to be aware of, as we're getting into the conversation, what it's all about. So it's more than a fundraiser, but it includes that. But we really do want to recruit you for prayer covering for this, as well as just hearing somewhere in line with what Elizabeth said. But I want to speak highly again about Henry and Amanda. Elizabeth just mentioned that Amanda, we've known her for over 20 years. She was when we pastored a church in Atlanta, Georgia, she was our assistant for, I think, more than 10 years. And then we have a long-standing relationship, a God connection, where the house that Henry lived in became our house. And so we know them. We want to vouch for them. Elizabeth and I want to vouch for them. We know them. I oversaw the processes over the last couple of years, and where, again, the accountability on, I'll say, every single penny that came in, that was donated, how there is the highest level of accounting takes place. And so their spiritual credibility and their practical credibility on managing everything they do is of the highest order. So we don't want to take any more time in that. I don't know if I covered everything I wanted to cover.
Yeah, so we're just excited about you guys sharing from the ground up what you guys are doing, what your goals are for the rest of this year, and then maybe big picture even after that, and all that the Lord's put on your heart related to Justice Reigns.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys so much for having us here. This is an awesome moment.
Yeah,
to
thank
be
you
with
guys
you.
both so
Yeah.
much. I think back to our history and even just waiting on Henry at Daystar, the church Daystar Atlanta, and just thinking the Lord had all this in mind in a way that, the purposes he has for us and how purposeful he was to bring you guys into my life first and then Henry into all of our lives, and then to be sitting here today. I was thinking about that earlier, just the plans the Lord has, and we don't know. And this is bigger and better than I could have imagined.
And let me just say, not to knock any other Daystar, but we were not associated with any other Daystar.
Yeah.
It's just
And this is
small local
Daystar
church in Atlanta.
in Atlanta. I just needed to
Yeah.
throw
Just
that
in
out
case.
because people make connections that aren't there sometimes.
And I want to add, you said you wanted to honor the previous ministry that you guys were a part of. If y'all hadn't gotten to do what you did with them, I don't think you would be launching out on your own with Justice Reigns at this time. And so I just also want to add how grateful we are that we've had the opportunity to watch you guys like literally grow up into this, because nobody had heard of this space many years ago. And so it's been a big learning curve for you guys.
Yeah. Yeah. We're so grateful too. And we didn't realize this was part of that the Lord had for us when he told us to move here. So it's been so fun, so honoring that he would trust us to be in this space, to do something so important to him. So we feel honored to be called into it. It wasn't something we sought out looking for to do.
No.
And our previous years of pastoring and everything, I can see just the Lord's process and equipping us
Leading you to it, but
to be able to be doing this. But it's an honor to get to work with this part of God's heart and setting captives free.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I never thought that, my background is a Green Beret and the motto is De Oppresso Liber, to liberate the oppressed. I never thought it had a real world missionary application for me, and especially for us together and to do this as co-heirs, and so it's been awesome. So yeah, we would definitely not be where we are right now. We would not have launched Justice Reigns if it weren't for the last 2 years,
Right.
at all. So, that's been amazing.
Yeah, in this space, we realize the need of it being so great. We started in this a little bit and we knew that there was problems, but how the Lord trusted us enough to get connected with organizations that he led us to by his spirit,
Yeah.
that we got to relationally connect with and vet. And we started seeing, wow, like the Lord's really showing us who to sow into, and that we saw how great the need was,
Yeah.
and that he's now showing us even more. So we're just like, we have everything set up and we have all these organizations that we 100% vouch for that need funding to continue doing what they're doing. And so it's great to be in a place where you know where the funds would go when they come in.
Yeah.
That's so important. And I'm going to stop talking after this, but
Oh, no,
that's so
please.
important what you're saying, because I think that is one thing that people are like, if I knew who to trust, if I
Right.
knew where to come alongside a ministry, but that's what y'all have grown so much in, is your ability to discern and vet, and then boots on the ground, go meet with these people that are actually on the front lines rescuing or restoring. And most of them are just their nose to the ground, like just getting their piece done, that they don't even get to connect with each other,
Right.
and take time to fund what they're doing and all that. So you're coming along almost as like this networker and an umbrella over all these individual organizations, and y'all worked so hard in vetting and then growing those friendships with people.
Let me interject one more time to give you something to run with, Henry. Is okay. So, how many organizations, how many human traffic rescuing organizations, loosely we call it, they have different aspects of are you all working with?
We have about 32 strategic partners and individuals total. We have 16 specific, I would say, kingdom relationships that are solid. So what happened is, several years ago, Amanda and I started quietly developing rapport. And as we got into this industry and really building key strategic partnerships that were focused on combating human trafficking. And, this led to recently launching Justice Reigns. And, it was amazing because we knew this was a mandate from the Lord. It was an assignment and it was a calling. So it wasn't something then when things went in a different direction that we were like, well, I guess we'll do something else. It was, no, this is a mandate from the Lord. And he gave us Psalm 82, which is pretty important because that's the foundation for Justice Reigns. And in verse 3 and 4, it says, give justice to the weak and the fatherless, maintain the right of the afflicted and the destitute, rescue the weak and the needy, deliver them from the hand of the wicked. And so, our mission statement, is that we exist to expose darkness, rescue the oppressed, restore survivors, and advance justice through strategic partnerships and kingdom-driven action. And the main thing with us is we have a kingdom approach. You had mentioned, people get their nose to the ground. They get kind of focused on the tree in the forest. They're not able to step back and look at things comprehensively. And so what we've been able to do by being led by the Spirit is for the Lord to guide us. And it's just like when Paul, Timothy, and Silas were trying to, get into Ephesus, and the Holy Spirit shut Ephesus down. And then Paul had that dream and he was led over to Macedonia. And so for us, that's how God has opened doors for us in the countries we've been to. And we've had such radical favor. For instance, in the Caribbean, the first country we went to, we were sitting in the Attorney General for the entire country's office, interviewing her in Spanish for 2 hours. And then we had the favor to sit with the colonel in charge of all the Fuerzas Especiales de la Policía. So the police,
Special forces of the police.
yeah,
I'll translate for you.
and so
You can speak a little Spanish.
I'm un poquito. But what was amazing is here we are with him doing a full-blown interview on anti-human trafficking and what's going on in his country and how the police viewpoint of what's happening and the importance of partnerships. He was a spirit-filled believer.
Wow.
And he actually, while we're with him, Amanda and I end up ministering to him and had a prophetic word that God had called him to be potentially the next president of that country. And the gal that was with him, his girlfriend he was dating, they had gone to a service and a prophet called him out and gave him that exact same word months before, and he really didn't believe it.
That's
And
interesting.
so
I have to watch that.
we wanted to get him in contact with the leadership thing that you do, because it's a Caribbean country, a Spanish speaking country. But so we've really had favor with the Lord, even in Southeast Asia, to go to the director of the NBI, which is their National Bureau of Investigation. It's the same thing as if, we came to the United States of America and we're sitting in Kash Patel's office.
Yeah.
I mean, that just doesn't happen.
Right.
And the people at NBI at the front desk were like, we don't understand this. We don't understand. And normally people never get above the third floor here. And you guys went to the director's office and there were people bringing us coffee and tea on carts. And we sat in an office for 6.5 hours. We had meetings with the director of the Division of Violence Against Women and Children, the director of the Anti-Trafficking Division. We now have, with Justice REIGNS, an investigator on staff in country, and we have a country manager. We had 12 investigations that are pipelined. 3 have already been triggered. And just in this past month, we can go into specifics. We've had 138 people rescued
Just in May.
just in May. And we've had is around 9 traffickers that have been arrested. And this is across 4 countries in Southeast Asia, South America, Central America, Mexico, and Caribbean.
Wow.
So it's been the favor of God. And so we're like, okay, God, there's favor on this to have kingdom influence. Yeah. And so we looked at this from, dealing with the human trafficking equation from a Seven Mountain perspective. And it's funny because we're in here and Amanda helped you get your first book published. She was the media pastor.
Yeah.
Yes, she
And
was.
it was which one was it? It was the Seven Mountain.
Mountain Prophecy,
Yeah.
the original, right?
Yeah.
The original Seven
He got,
Mountain
he
Prophecy.
got instilled in us the Seven Mountain, it's like this. It's all about having influence on all spheres of society. So
Yeah.
it was like it's been, but it was not just that book. It was multiple books. But yes,
Yeah, that was the key one. It was,
that's
Yeah,
right.
that's
From the beginning.
That's been so important when we see these opportunities, like with the government, like you're saying.
Yeah.
Because we're not just going in and working with rescuers or with survivors or safe homes. We're talking with government officials who make these laws and changes and seeing tremendous favor. We got to interview some of them that we'll get to air some of those.
Yeah, that was huge. So,
Mm.
I think that, human trafficking, has spiritual roots to it. I mean, going all the way back to Ezekiel 28:14 through 16, it was through the abundance of Satan's trade that iniquity was found in him. And when you start looking at that word in the Hebrew, and it's translated in King James Version, from his traffic, he was trafficking.
Wow.
And so this is before the creation of Adam. So you're talking about a pre-Adamic age, where God, has his kingdom and his government, and there are angels that are rebelling. And you have Satan basically holding and manipulating angels. You know that book, well, it was one of the books that you and I read together along with Enoch.
Yep.
But it had to do with basically Satan doing the same thing that Jeffrey Epstein has done to people. And so ultimately, everybody thinks it's just one snapshot fall of the angels, but it's been a panoramic multi-rebellion against God.
Mm.
And so when we're created in his image, you know, human trafficking is an attack on the image of God.
Yep, for sure.
And so this is something that is so important for us as the church to, you know, arise and shine and be salt and light in. I mean, you know, that Psalm I read, Psalm 82, if you really look at the beginning of it in the ESV, this is pretty fun here. I mean, when you think about it, this is the English Standard Version. Psalm 82:1, God has taken his place in the divine council. In the midst of the Elohim, or gods, he holds judgment. How long will you judge unjustly and show partiality to the wicked? Give justice to the weak and the fatherless. This originally was a charge for the Elohim that helped God govern his government. And they fell by the wayside. So now he's judging them. He says here, he said that they have neither knowledge nor understanding. They walk about in darkness. All the foundations of the earth are shaking. He's talking about the human race now because of their mishandling of God's affairs for the universe. And then he says, I said you are Elohim, or gods, sons of the Most High, all of you. Nevertheless, like men, you shall die and fall like any prince. And then it says, arise, O God, judge the earth, for you shall inherit all the nations. And there is Jesus right there in Psalm 82.
That's awesome.
So we feel like, you know, the church has a responsibility as the bride of Christ who reigns with Christ. And we're transdimensional beings because we're seated in heavenly places with Christ, and we're still here on earth. And we can transact business as the ecclesia in the throne of grace and take things before the throne. And so for the listeners to get involved, it's like join the Justice Reigns prayer team and start transacting business in the heavenly realm and provide that covering and provide that support for us to go out and fulfill Psalm 82, 3 and 4, which was originally an angelic mandate. And now I believe, you know, the Lord has given that to the bride. Yeah.
That's a good. Could one of you speak into the stages? Because some people can think human trafficking is just about raiding a place and getting whoever's there, but it's you've discovered that it's
Right.
there's multiple steps and stages of the processes.
Well, it is. And, you know, we have learned that even speaking with respected men who are part of the rescues, they will say after they rescue someone, which is extremely a lot of work for that to
Hard
happen,
just for that, yeah.
they'll say now the hard part starts. And they realize that the journey now for restoration can be more challenging. And so not only are we focused on the rescues, we are also following the victims and the survivors now into restoration. So we work with safe homes that know how to work with trauma-informed, you know, care specialists that they bring in. They're familiar with how to care for someone who's been through that kind of level. It's not just a psychiatrist, which that is needed and very good, but understanding complex trauma. And then if we start working at all with survivors who've been satanically ritually abused, understanding all that, so being in the right facility. And also we partner with safe homes that will take in a survivor in any condition. So a lot of times, you know, safe homes are not really equipped for that. So they're, once you get, you know, cleaned up, you get the medical condition that you need, you get off of drugs and alcohol, which a lot of these survivors have been forced to be on drugs and alcohol. So again, going through a detox. So they'll actually bring them in. It's called 24-hour stabilization homes, where they will tend to them and take care of them. So we really value those type of homes and the importance of that, because if not, they may, you know, just get taken into custody. They may go to the police and they may just be out again. So having a place where someone can actually meet them where they're at, have an understanding for that, help them get sober and equipped, and, you know, whatever medical condition they, you know, they need to be able to be taken care of. And then from there, they go into a stabilization home.
Well, the safe house is an emergency stabilization facility. So if the girls are rescued, which would be removing them directly from the traffickers' control, so there you need force to go in, which is law enforcement, kicking in a door, you know, grabbing the girls. That's a rescue. A recovery would be A girl is not in the physical custody of a trafficker, but she's being trafficked. Maybe, well, in one particular case in Colorado, this trafficker had 2 girls. He checked the one girl into a hotel. A team that goes out and ministers to the areas where the prostitutes are and stuff will give out like Rescue America hotline or different hotlines. And so when that trafficker went to go check the second girl in the hotel room, she called the hotline and said, I've got 30 minutes if someone could come get me. And so with this particular ministry, they have trained husband and wife teams. They go through the training, get background checks, and they're basically on a list, and they'll call and can you be here to pick this girl up at this time? And they just go right down through the list. And if you're available, it could be any time of night, and you pick the girls up in any condition. And those girls, then they transport them to the safe house. Their phones go into Faraday bags, so they don't have any signals. They can't be tracked. A couple of the homes actually have chip scanners to scan the girls for chips, tracking chips.
Wow.
They can be placed underneath the skin, and with SRA, we found that to be common.
Wow. Wow.
And so that emergency stabilization facility or safe house is where the dust settles. No one can reach them. And then for medical and things, a lot of these girls do not have passports. They do not have any kind of documentation. So the program case manager in these homes helping the girls get their documents back, their driver's licenses, because oftentimes the traffickers take them. And this is in the United States. And so once the dust settles, 30, 45 days, somewhere in there, they then transfer to a long-term restoration and care home. And this is where, for instance, one of the homes that we really like, they have light therapy, art therapy, equestrian therapy. They have trauma-informed, Holy Spirit-directed care. I mean, it's just amazing.
And just to remind people of the contrast, we're talking about women that probably have been raped 30 times a day for years.
Yeah.
Getting to go and be some level of peace and experience something normal, like riding a horse.
Yeah.
Like doing art. I mean, that can sound all nice and sweet, but like, let's look at what that really means for someone.
And that's interesting because, you mentioned 30. That was actually the quota that we had learned for men per day that the traffickers put on the girls in the Caribbean. And these girls were being lured through a social media platform to come take a job in the Caribbean as hostesses, etc. And once they get their passports are taken, they start out as hostesses, but they put them in immediate debt. So you owe us $1,600 for your flight, and then pretty soon you need to go sit on men's laps in the club, and then you need to perform for these men, and then they need drugs to be able to stay up late at night, so they get them hooked on drugs. Now they have to pay rent to the trafficker for that room that they rent. They've got the $1,600 plane flight that they said they have to repay to get free, and they're now addicted to drugs, and their trafficker is their supplier. So the traffickers are making money on that, and they've got a quota of 15 to 30 men a day. And so with that, if the girls want freedom, oftentimes the trafficker will say, well, if you can lure another girl in here from Colombia, then
To replace
her, we'll let you go. And that's just demonic. Oh,
It is that ancient evil that
It
you
is.
read about. And I don't think there's anything more frontline. I mean, it's Isaiah 61,
Yeah,
That's the
Spirit of the
cap-
sovereign Lord is upon you to set captives free.
and, when they have those moments, I can imagine just crying out to hopefully they believe in a God, or they're not even sure there is a God. I just know that the Lord's heart is, where are my children?
Yeah.
Where are my sons and daughters? And God he's so patient. He allows us to learn. This is an education for all of us. We have to look at this and not just look at it, but say, okay, Lord, what is my part in this? Everybody has to have a part, some kind of part
Yeah.
in this issue in society.
Yeah.
Henry, not to interrupt what you're just going to say, but, and I don't know if you're already going to say something, but I just remembering not that many weeks ago, while you all were in another nation, you sent us this little video of this little boy.
Yeah.
Can you tell a little more about that?
Yeah. Well, every time
As
every time we talk about this, I tear up. But um, so we've been partnering with a trafficked babies home in Southeast Asia, and when we first heard that babies were trafficked, we just thought, you've got to be kidding me. And we're talking one that 6 months to 3 years old.
yeah.
And so what happened was is one of our contacts sent me a picture of this baby that was discarded. And it was, in a culvert, basically, after being violated. And so the baby wound up, in the hospital, had sepsis. And that's when I called you. And I remember Andrew and Kelly and you and Elizabeth, all of us, we prayed. And you had actually declared that young boy's name to be invincible. You had prophesied over him. You remember that?
I do know.
And so, he was touch and go. He had sepsis, I think I mentioned that, in the hospital. And when we finally got to the baby's home, we said, where's Invincible? Where is it? And so you'll see the picture we'll bring up here is Amanda actually holding. I got to hold him as well, but it's a picture with Amanda holding Invincible. And yeah, so that was huge.
Yeah, that hit us pretty strongly too, being not right where you all was like, because I called him a little boy, but he's a baby.
He's a baby.
Baby.
Yeah.
And to see the picture, I think we're going to show it if we haven't already, just to see a baby like that, just abandoned, that's horrific. And then to know the story behind what had happened to him and why he was abandoned.
Yeah.
And then to see the Lord rescuing him and getting him taken care of and then getting to hold him months later, seeing him doing well. And not only him, but so many other children there at the baby's home. And, we purposely, when we just went like back in February, I guess, or March. And it was hard to go to a trafficked baby's home. It's like, how do you gear your heart up for that?
Yeah, exactly.
Knowing that and so I was like, gosh, can my heart handle this? And so when we went, not only could my heart handle it, I was so encouraged to see what the Lord had done in their lives and was doing.
Yeah.
It actually gave me so much hope in this space. It's like sometimes people think it's too much to be involved in anti-trafficking work. I don't think I can handle it. It's too much. It's too hard. And yes, there are very hard things to see, but you also get to see what the Lord is doing.
Yeah.
And that was part of even the name Justice Reigns. Is just like the Lord's like, where is justice reigning? Let me see where justice is reigning in anti-trafficking work. And we're getting to see the Lord do such tremendous things in these children's lives. And so when we came into the home, I was like, I don't know what to expect. Am I going to be bawling the entire time? And we came in and we saw the joy on their faces. And just to see them even like begin to trust us and love on us. Yeah, there's a photo I think we'll pull up now of these two precious little boys. I mean, just so full of joy. And of course they took to Henry and, playing with his beard and pulling my hair saying, why is your hair white? They all speak English, by the way, because they've learned that like English is the predominant language to like get something done.
Yeah, which is crazy. Yeah.
But they loved Henry. And so when we were leaving, this picture we had little badges with our names on them. And he asked, the teacher, he's like, can I have Henry's badge? Can I keep his badge with his picture on it? He's got it on his face there in the photo. And then
we FaceTimed him when, I don't know, a month after we were there. and he gets on the FaceTime, and he just the biggest smile and says, "Hi, best friend." You know, oh me, oh my, you know,
Can we take you, please?
I'm gonna adopt you. Oh gosh, you know.
And this other sweet little girl, I think her picture is coming out.
Yeah.
And she was just, I didn't know her story, and I purposely didn't want to know their stories. I just wanted to meet them.
Mhm.
And so I just really connected with her, and she connected with me. And at the end, you know, she had a hard time saying goodbye, knowing I was coming back the next day. But so the next day, I connected with her again, and she like allowed herself to like show emotion in front of me, which is a huge deal. And so I asked, the teacher, the lady that runs the facility, I said, what is her story, And it's just horrific, horrific, horrific. But to see that she was willing to open up her heart and to trust and to be vulnerable enough to actually cry. And so even when I saw her on the FaceTime, she saw me and she was happy, and then she just allowed herself to cry in front of me and feel that emotion. So they're so precious, and they're so resilient. Children are so resilient, and what they're doing at this home and the other homes that we are supporting, they are instilling such good care for them. They're teaching them all about the Lord. We did, worship with them, Bible study with them. And so they're learning so much redemption and in their lives. And they have a journey, but the Lord is with them.
Yeah.
They're not trying to figure this out on their own.
Yeah.
And so yeah, that was just one of the precious homes that we've been to.
And something about, I guess you all probably can pick that up already, about Henry and Amanda is they're very prophetic. They've been pastors as well. So they're very seasoned and not easy to deceive in any kind of way. So this really helps in this whole niche of the human trafficking rescue window. There are also actually many, there's a lot of infiltration of the human trafficking organizations and things like that for obvious reasons. And so part of what we've really loved about them is their ability to vet by the Spirit. So I don't think any of these, I think everybody that we're talking about, or at least these 15 or 16 key, like they've been met in the person.
Yes.
They've been met in the person. You've been to their place. There's conversations, ongoing conversations. So there is the best vetting imaginable that is taking place. And I had that question for them because I saw them gripped by the stories they've told us. They grip us till I would think, it's like, man, I was like, is this all right? Does this bring you down? And Amanda actually had shared that some time ago, and I was like, that is so good. Like the Lord's able to connect her to his joy of them being rescued. So it doesn't just feel like, oh my goodness, we're going to have to get under this big weight. So yeah, they'll share. I've seen them both share more tears when we tell stuff than anything else, but they really have embraced it and found a key. Yeah, as you were saying before, like we never had conversations years ago about y'all doing human trafficking at all, but then
But
we
it
watch.
so makes sense.
So made sense. And we've seen this. Okay.
Well, yeah, and the other thing too, we get a lot of people saying, well, we want to focus on America, and we totally get that, and we have partnerships here. We have safe homes here. We actually, one particular safe home that we helped ramp up. We went down to Miami and did a leaders recon. And we had a real estate agent. We looked at several properties. There was one church that was willing to offer the old pastor's parsonage to be the safe house. And this was going to be Miami's first safe house or emergency stabilization facility. And Miami is one of the 5 primary cities where human trafficking occurs. And the strategy for this thing to open was before the World Cup. So this has been a year. It was over a year. And before that, the man who had this idea, we had met in Denver, And when we were in Denver, the Lord gave us the prophetic word to confirm this Miami opening, that it would be a beachhead that would be secured there. And this would be, there are restoration homes there. There are ministries that do minister to trafficked women and children, but this would be the first emergency stabilization home. And so we made a second trip down there when the property was found to get confirmation. And so there's a picture of Amanda and I standing in front of the safe house that you're probably looking at right now. And I remember the Lord confirming without a doubt prophetically that this was his will and his fingerprint was on it. And we called you from Miami and said, Johnny, this is, the Lord has confirmed this. It's across the street from a Moravian church. It's, you know, and the Lord was speaking through that about the importance of the Moravians. And so we knew this to be the will of God. And so that individual actually signed a lease based on, our conversation and approval to fund that for the year. He had signed it. And so then when things shifted, he was like, what am I going to do? So what was awesome is was an opportunity for Justice Reigns to actually pay the first month's rent for May.
Yeah.
So we're looking for, June. And actually, I mean, on the way over here, we went to the Justice Reigns mailbox and we opened up like 5 envelopes and it was $9,300.
Yeah. Tremendous.
There's rent number 2. There's rent for June for him, And so this is what it looks like for the body to step up and to make the things happen. And so, the wonderful thing about this man is we've had to encourage him prophetically. And we've had to go back to that word that God gave us and the confirmation, back in Denver 2 years ago. And then to be at that property and give him that prophetic word and say, no, you need to remember these words and God's going to take care of this. And they actually they are open. They have he has hired a program manager there. And so, so
this is amazing. Well, let me just jump in there and just speak into the giving part again. I think the number I gave y'all was $784,000 of promised donations to at least these 15 organizations, and some of them it's hurting them really bad. And so we want, I think Elizabeth's going to add to it as well, but this is 100% of what's given today is going towards that, towards them, towards Justice Reigns, towards what they're doing with these human traffic rescue organizations. And so we're going to give you in just a moment, between Elizabeth and Henry, tell you where to give. If you just can't remember anything else, if you're going to give to Restore 7, we don't want you to do that, but at minimum, put in the memo you can either put for Henry and Amanda or for Justice Reigns, but we'd rather you give directly to them. And I just pray, even, as we're sharing this, the Lord be touching the heart of, I know there's a businessman, somebody you can just take care of most of that by yourself. And so I'm not giving you a prophetic word about doing that or not. It's just whatever the Holy Spirit leads and guides on that. But this is an amazing ministry, and we want to recommend you also. They're going to tell you about that in a minute. Sign up to be partners with them. You're going to get, and you can tell what kind of regular information where you get these stories and newsletters that tell more about this. And again, it's not just for the resources you can bring, but really the prayer covering is very important. And some of you might have a desire to call and say, we want to figure out how to, get our hands, I don't know, I don't say get our hands dirty in the midst of all that, but ask for opportunities. How can you participate in a practical way? And whether it's with them or they will know somebody where you can go, a trusted trafficking rescue organization, maybe one of your kids or your grandkids is like, I want to do that. And you don't know where to trust. They're a great resource for all of that. But we really, I think it's just so important, this opportunity for for us to rally around this thing that's so close to the heart of God. I think you can sense it and feel it as well. But Elizabeth, jump in on that.
Yeah, no, I know you have a little bit more to share, Henry. Maybe you could go ahead and tell them ways they can get involved, and where they can donate. And then we'll wrap it up with you covering any more of the photos and videos that you want shown,
Yeah, that'd be
and
great.
whatever stories go with that.
Well, the primary way is to go to our website, which is justicereigns.org. We just launched that website, and you can actually educate yourself on our website. It go through all the pages. You will see our 7 mountain perspective on combating human trafficking. You will have everything on it. And Johnny is the president of the board. And
Yeah, that's how much we believe in it.
and Elizabeth is on the board, and obviously Amanda and I and another gal. And so we just had a really productive board meeting 2 days ago. Went through everything, which was amazing. But to be prayer, we are organizing an intercessory prayer team.
That meets via Zoom, and all are welcome to join that. You can just sign up through our website. We'll send you the Zoom link, and we'd love to have anyone who wants to be on that with us to agree in prayer.
Will there be like specific prayer points related to certain operations?
Yeah, we'll share current situations that are going on. We'll share like up front just some practical things that to be covering generally, but then as things shift, we'll give specifics, so people feel like they're a part of what's going on as well. We won't be able to tell like obviously confidential things about operations that could jeopardize the rescues, but we can be saying, hey, be praying now. And that would mean a lot. Like we already have 100 people who have signed up to be a part of that. And we were just the
prayer part for the prayer
partners. Yeah.
That was good.
Oh, that
It was just like to have that, yes, I want to be a part of that. I mean, that's just so dear to our hearts.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Let me jump in just with Justice Reigns, though it could apply to RAINS, it's not RAINS, it's REIGN, like reigns as in it rules and reigns.
Yeah.
JusticeReigns.com.
.org.
Hey, there we go. Okay, now we're just confused. You go Justice Reigns. That was
.org. Do not go to .com.
.org.
I don't even know what the
.org. JusticeReigns.org.
So we have tiers that you can also support us. The biggest way you can help really is to become a monthly partner, because that lets us know, how to plan our operational budget by becoming a monthly partner. So, we've got levels on there. So a frontline partner, $25 a month. We've got freedom partners at $50, all the way up to the abolitionist, which would be $1,000 a month. And we actually have 2 abolitionist partners so far. And then you could become a legacy or strategic partner at anywhere from $5,000 on up. And we got one of those today in the mail. So we are just so grateful for that. So that's how you can get involved.
All right. Any last thing you just...
Yeah, I think it's a good time to show the video.
Okay.
And so we've got a short couple-minute video for you to see. It's based on our trips, not only to the Caribbean, but also to Southeast Asia. You'll see a lot of the things we're talking about. There's some pictures from the trafficked babies home. We got out the slip and slide with them. We do have to black their eyes out because, they're actually survivors. So we black their faces out. But you'll see it. It's an amazing video. And then we'll come back and talk about a few final things.
Human trafficking is a manifestation of evil in our time. It is intentional, it is organized, and it is rooted in an unseen realm. If we refuse to acknowledge this battle, we will never deploy the strategies required to win it.
This is systemic evil, a coordinated darkness operating behind the scenes.
Justice Reigns was born out of encounter, stepping into this fight, seeing the brokenness firsthand, holding children who have been trafficked, and recognizing that what we are seeing was not just human evil, but something deeper, something spiritual, something organized beyond what most are willing to confront.
Justice Reigns exists to combat human trafficking by exposing darkness, liberating the oppressed, restoring survivors, and advancing justice through strategic partnerships, training, and kingdom-driven action. We are modern-day abolitionists, a movement committed to seeing justice established in every sphere of society.
Our strategy takes us upstream. We don't just rescue, we reform, we restore, and we establish righteousness where corruption once ruled. We partner on the ground and we fight, because this battle requires more than awareness. It requires awakened, equipped, and activated believers.
We mobilize men because men are the primary consumers fueling this industry. But they are called to be protectors, providers, and defenders of hearth and home. We believe in a world where captives are set free, where trafficking networks are dismantled, where survivors are restored to wholeness. We are Justice Reigns, and we will not stop until justice reigns for all.
Well, obviously, you guys just watched the video, and there's quite a bit there. Being in the red light district in Manila was really wild, especially to have our cameraman. We had a bodyguard from the National Bureau of Investigation and an undercover police officer who was our investigator and is our investigator on staff with Justice Reigns. And he would follow us around as we walked through there, and we filmed that. And I did it.
The you of we.
I did, yeah. And it was wild because the presence of God was with us right there in the district. And I did a short video on how porn drives and fuels human trafficking.
Yeah.
Because it objectifies women and children. And if you can make that shift in a man's soul, then they're objects that can be bought and sold. And so we are comprehensive in how we fight human trafficking, and the getting men who are porn free and walking in the fullness of their calling by the Spirit of God in righteousness is one way to combat human trafficking.
Go
a
after
lot of
the
people,
demand.
they don't think about it. So we go after it systemically. And the other thing is, to let y'all know that, we're not isolated to one nation or one particular project. We're comprehensive, and we go where the Spirit leads us. And so we have projects here in the United States of America. We actually have one, once the funding comes in, part of the budget was for an anti-pedophile operation here in the United States, where the police department is actually trained actively on how to set up a sting to capture pedophiles, and then a practical real world application with the department where they actually arrest the pedophiles that fall into the trap. So if you look at a pedophile in his duration of his life, he will usually molest about 250 children. So if you just arrest 5 guys somewhere at the beginning of the violating children, look how many kids you've saved. And that operation is $30,000 to train the police department, to conduct the operation. And, it's with guys that are former special forces dudes. And our in-country manager, who was 16 years with the FBI on HRT. And so we have really fostered these relationships, and that's how this goes down. So we're global, and it's kind of like the Great Commission. Jesus said, go into all the world. And so we go as we're led, and we only go where we're led. And that's probably why we're having the success that we're having. A couple just photos to show is, when we go into a country, we meet with the officials and the law enforcement. We have a picture here of you and I with the Attorney General of one country. And then also another picture with that country's lead investigator for human trafficking. We connected with them. We help link resources to the police, and we find out where where they need to be shored up. And for instance, in one country, they don't have the bandwidth to be able to download the tips that they're getting from a particular organization to be able to verify the violations that are happening. So we're in the process of helping them get potentially Starlink to be able to now finish the investigations through viewing the evidence that they can download.
Also care for the investigators that are having to view all this evidence.
Yeah.
How are we tending to them so they can continue doing the work? So care for them as well is something that we've been funding and partnering with.
Secondary trauma is huge. People don't think about it, but there's that. And then also we partner with a guy who has a couple aircraft. The Lord, he's amazing. We met him at one of the galas for one of the safe houses. The Lord told him to sell everything he had. He lived in Florida. He moved to Atlanta, and he now has 2 airplanes, and he uses those planes to transport girls. Like for instance, if there's not a bed available where they're rescued, he will transport them to the state of the safe house free of charge. And we actually have a picture here. This is with a survivor. She is in the aircraft.
Yeah, she's already been set free, so we can show her face.
Yeah.
But she's now on the other side of where she is now sharing her testimony and helping educate churches and sharing online, and has a book. So we were able to transport her to be able to speak on a platform to share this testimony. So we have a photo of her. You can see her face in that. So that's just even using the area that you're called to.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a pilot. He can use his skill. And now he's training other pilots to be able to serve in this way too. So he's teaching other ones, and he's vetting them to be like, hey, do you want to volunteer some of your time to be one of the pilots with me?
Wow. So yeah, we are at a critical transition point, and the work is obviously expanding, as you can see. But the financial structure that we previously, had support from, that's just not there anymore. And these operations, need to be executed. They need to be launched. And so we are excited.
We're expectant. We believe.
Yep.
We have a lot of hope.
Yes.
And we're very grateful that we're doing this with you guys too.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so important. It's so front lines to what it looks like when we talk about, bring your kingdom to earth, Lord. I mean, this is it. And we're having to all learn in the process. And I love that you're taking us on that learning part of this with you guys too. You're about to start a podcast in the next few weeks. And they're prophetic, so that's always going to come out. But in addition to that, along the way, we're going to get to learn from them about God's heart for justice, specifically in the anti-trafficking arena. And I'm excited. I'm hopeful about what that means for the world. Like when we wake up and show up, things can actually change.
Yeah, can.
And, there are a lot of things we cannot control right now, but this is something that literally every single one of us can do something. And I just hear the Lord's heart for you guys. Just a huge thank you. Like the Father's just like, thank you.
Amen.
And we thank you too.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to mention one quick thing. I know one of the things that we went over in our Justice Reigns board meeting is we looked at the actual breakdown of between now and the end of 2026, exactly what those dollars will go towards the $780 something $1,000. It's when you think about the number of people that it will impact, it's nothing. It's nothing.
Yeah.
And so don't let that number scare you. Just listen to the Lord, do whatever part you can do with joy, and know that it's a wise investment in a truly kingdom thing. So, for Johnny and I, we don't even do a hard sell for Restore 7. Like this is so the Lord's heart. And so that's why we wanted to take an entire episode of Johnny's prophetic perspective and give them an opportunity to share with you guys. So go find their website, henryandamanda.com, justicereigns.org, and sign up, get on their email list, join the prayer time, consider going. Some of you guys need to go to the Sheep Move Communicate. The next one is when?
Yeah.
October 7th.
October. He's got
And then
another
Idaho.
coming up. That fills up fast. So if you're interested in that, yeah, there's all kinds of ways to get involved. We love you guys. We're so proud of you
Yeah.
all.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And,
You
you know,
guys.
to everyone who's watching this show, just, you know, thank you for praying for us.
Yes,
Thank you for supporting us. And thank you for joining the fight with us.
Yeah.
Amen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Amen. All right. Well, we're going to see you again next week on Johnny's Prophetic. You're supposed to close it out, I think. I'm
No,
supposed
you're
to-
doing great, honey.
Johnny's Prophetic Perspective. Blessings on all.